Welcome to the Great People Show, your guide to greatness, your GPS to excellence. Here's your host, J.J. White.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Great People Show. I am your host, J.J. White, and on our program today, we coach for the greatest version of you. Today, we're talking about crushing your goals in 2018. Do you get stuck executing your goals? We are your on-call coaches. Give us a ring, 804-454-1366. And in the Great People studio with us is our co-host, James Muncie. Good morning, James.
Good morning. How are you?
Good. Was Santa good to you?
Santa was great. Hit all of his goals in our house. So no, we did. We had a great Christmas. How about in the White household?
It was pretty wild. Yeah, the White House was off the hook. I'm so lost on days. It was Monday morning. The whole week is just weird now because of the Monday.
The good thing is it's still Thursday because we're here.
Yeah, it's weird. Like I feel like it's a Sunday morning now for some reason.
That's right.
Yeah. You know, Santa was good to us. The kids are getting to the age where we're getting to this other level of presence where it's not like little plastic toys that make it for about a week and then end up getting destroyed in multiple parts, and then no one's really playing with them anymore. So it's fun to see the happiness and you know, we all get into that end of the year mode.
Yeah.
It's funny how we start to wind down, but yet we should be winding up in a way.
Right.
It's like there's like two strangers passing in the night. The 2017 is winding down, and 2008 is knocking on the door saying it's time to rock and roll.
It is, and it's tough sometimes, I find, after the holidays to not get stuck in a rut. You know, people, I always think, you know, gosh, all I've got to look forward to now is 3 months of cold, dark, boring winter. and you know, and everybody looks forward to the spring and the summer, and you've got to make the most of the winter months. We've got a quarter of our year coming up before spring comes.
Wow, it's unbelievable.
So you got to stay upbeat.
Well, 2018 is only 4 days away. It's resolution time, baby. Some thrilling facts here for you. 40% of people make resolutions. Only 8% of them are achieved, and 80% of that failure happens in February. Are you kidding me?
Told you, the cold, dark winter.
This is the most discouraging thing you can hear at the time of year when goal setting is at its furthest point forward in your head. I mean, most people, if they're going to think about goals, they're thinking about it right now. Wait, I just said goal setting, but that is not what resolutions are. A resolution is simply a decision to do or not do something. That's it. It's a freaking decision. And then we wonder why most resolutions drift away. Well, how many of your decisions have you ever made where you just literally turn the other cheek minutes after you made that decision? So technically, they're just supposed to go away. They're just very, albeit big decisions. But because we're only making a decision, as soon as we do life, nothing around that decision has changed. Nothing. So most people this time of year are deciding to lose weight, or go to the gym, or even better, which is a much better resolution, is to live healthy. What a wonderful decision that is. Then you wake up at the same time you normally do. Surprise, there's no extra time for the gym. You go in the pantry, and it's the same food that caused you to get and stay fat, and therefore within days or weeks, your decision added no change to your life. You couldn't keep up because nothing really changed except you made up your mind. But that wasn't enough. This is why, in my opinion, resolutions suck. We're not even using the right word. It's time to execute on our goals, our real goals. So the purpose of today's show is to get you thinking different about what you want to accomplish, how to accomplish it, and most importantly, why. And we need to talk about the things that will get you stuck along the way. So we're going to break down a few things for you on today's show. We're going to break down a desire, a vision, structure, and coaching. One of the quotes that I found in researching for the show that I absolutely love: vision without action is merely a dream. Action without vision just passes the time. Vision with action can change the world, by Joel Barner. I've personally decided to turn over my Apple Cart in 2018, and I suspect other people feel the same way, that they want to turn over their Apple Cart, that they literally want to disrupt. I know that's a real popular word these days. They really want to disrupt their lives. But I don't know that most people have the wherewithal, because that requires a lot of change, a lot of pain, and a lot of hard work.
Well, that's just it. I think a lot of people, you can look in the mirror and say, gosh, I sure would like to see a more fit version of myself look back at me from this mirror. It's a whole nother thing. And to say, you know what, I'm going to try to hit the gym, like you were saying, and I'm going to eat better. It's a whole nother thing to actually to execute on that, because this is a transformation that's going to take people months, sometimes a year or more. And the commitment is huge. And I think when people make that New Year's resolution, a lot of the time they're not really thinking about what is this really going to take? Like, do they really have the full vision? It's not enough just to see the fitter you in the mirror. It's you've got to see the vision of, hey, this is going to be every morning for the next 12 months for me to get where I want to go.
And this is going to be such a cliche, but the question is, do you really want it bad enough?
Absolutely.
You really, really want it bad enough? Because you said, I'm looking in the mirror and I'm thinking, man, for 2018, I really want to get in better shape. I really want to do this. But do you really want it bad enough to go through? Because most of us know what it really takes to make the change necessary to achieve that goal. And it's hard. It's hard work. Everything in our life, in a way, is designed to help us not achieve that.
Absolutely. And there's a big difference between thinking, I know I should lose weight, and I am going to do what it takes to lose the weight. The classic resolution, other than losing weight, used to be quit smoking. Well, now a lot less people smoke, but it was the same thing. People knew that they shouldn't smoke. I mean, you ask any smoker that, I know I shouldn't smoke, but to really quit, you've got to really, at your core,
the desire
to no longer smoke.
You absolutely have to have that real desire. We're going to add a couple things to this to help you achieve the goals in 2018. Desire is going to really be the only thing that is that thread that runs through the entire process, because as soon as you lose the desire to have what you want to have or to be what you want to be, it doesn't matter what you have. It doesn't matter what your structure is or whatever. It's going to fade away because you don't want it bad enough to stick with it.
That's right.
And if it was natural, if this was just something that was normally a part of you, you wouldn't be having to do something different to achieve different results. They'd be happening already.
That's right. And a lot of the time, even when we do have that desire, we are faced with challenges as we travel down that road. Maybe you're trying to lose weight and things start out well, and 4 months into this new healthier lifestyle you're leading, you have some big life event take place with your health, with a traumatic event with your family, and it can quickly drive you back to those bad habits.
Yep.
And it's tough. It's easier said than done.
So on today's show, we're talking about that dreaded word, resolutions. And I stated up front, resolutions suck. We're not even using the right word. We're not even using the right thought process. So I'm curious. We went to social media this week to find out what is your one big goal in 2018 and why is that important. If you want to come on the show and share that with us, we'd love to hear it. That's 804-454-1366. When we come back from break, we're going to be breaking down a few simple but very, very difficult pieces of the puzzle to lay in place to make sure that your 2018 goals are achieved. You're listening to The Great People Show. All right, everyone, welcome back to the show. One of my goals in 2018 is to spend more quality time with my children. I do feel like I'm pretty good. I'm really good about balancing the time. I'm not the guy that works long hours. Right. I'm very careful about how I run my life because my children are 5 and 8, and they need me now arguably more than ever from a development perspective. And one of the great tools that we use on the show, that we talk about on the show a lot, is from a gingerkid.com. These are wooden heirloom toys, and they're toys and tools that teach. And it's it's tough whenever you have children that either want to play electronics or kind of do their own thing. And if you're a listener to the show, you put in gifts, you get 25% off. And this is a great way to spend some of those Visa gift cards that you get for your small children. Instead of going to Toys R Us, you can go to gingerkid.com and buy something that'll actually help you be a better parent. That's one of my goals. What's one of your big goals in 2018, James?
Well, one of our big goals with my family, actually, we are planning on taking an epic cross-country trip this summer.
Wow. How long will that take?
Possibly as long as a month.
Wow. That's awesome.
Yeah. So we are.
Wait, does that mean I get to go and we can do a road show?
We're going to do the whole show from the road.
Oh, I like this idea.
But yeah, we're looking at 3 or 4 weeks. And
can I sit in the car that you tow with the...
Yeah, you can get in the
pretend to drive the whole time.
Back there, yeah, we're going to tow the RV across the country.
That's like illegal and unsafe, isn't it?
Probably.
Okay.
It's okay.
I just want to put that out there real quick. So we said earlier, we've got a few things that we need to go through in order to make sure that our 2018 is, because how this ties into the show is we're the Great People Show, and we're here to help coach you to be the greatest version of yourself, which includes, and you probably notice this whenever you listen to the show a lot, we talk more about the things that get in the way of greatness than this pie in the sky down the road. But you have to have a pie in the sky down the road that you're working towards. And we broached this a little earlier, but the first step in this process is desire. And if you're pretty happy with your life and you're content, you can't really expect much to change. I'm listening to a book right now from Brendan Burchard called High Performance Habits, and I'm in the section where he talks about most things in our world right now are designed to make it easy and comfortable. Mm-hmm. And in a way, it's kind of ruining us. Mm-hmm. I mean, think about it. If things become too easy and we get too comfortable, what are your goals really? And what are you going to be driven towards to achieve those?
Absolutely. And that's different, but that's different for every person you meet. I mean, we all have different goals. We all have different things that we like to spend our money on. Mm-hmm. But that's good. That's a good thing to think about.
Yeah. And your resolutions, if you want to keep using that word, I don't want to use the word anymore. I just want to use goals because resolutions suck. Resolutions, just the decision, is the reason these things don't stick is you just really don't want it bad enough.
That's right.
You would much rather keep eating the bag. Oh, I found a bag of jalapeno flavored cheese puffs last night. My desire to eat that is way more than looking good. I established that last night. The other step in this process, once you've really clarified your desire for something, is the number one barrier to you achieving anything you really want in life are distractions. And now more than ever, we live in a distracted world. And just a couple statistics for you. 73% of leaders feel distracted from their current tasks, either some or most of the time. 73%. 67% of leaders describe their minds as cluttered. Mm-hmm. Like most of the time, your mind is cluttered. And where do these distractions come from? 26% demands from other people. Literally just having people come to you on a regular basis, needing something from you. 25% are competing priorities. And this is another big thing to establish early on in your goal setting process is you can't have too many things going on at one time because you can't focus. 13% are general distractions and 12% is too much workload. I actually don't know if I agree with a lot of these statistics. I think the numbers are much higher. And something that I wonder where this fits into is Facebook.
Yeah,
and all the notifications.
It's not, and I would say even broader than Facebook, it is technology altogether. It's these little cell phones that we carry with us everywhere, where between email and text messages and phone calls and social media, this is nothing but a big distraction.
I'm addicted to it.
That is in my pocket 24/7.
I hate it, James.
I
freaking hate most of my phone.
Yeah.
You
hate it, but you can't stop.
I really can't.
And so I think it's a huge source of distraction. And what do we do about that?
Should or will or want. I've literally wanted to break up with Facebook dozens of times in our relationship.
Yeah.
And I just can't do it.
But you can, and it's important to your career.
But that's terrible language. Listen to what I just said. I just said I can't do it. That immediately means that I won't do it. And I just put a huge upper limit on myself. Mm-hmm. It's ridiculous how much that I've submitted to these distractions.
Well, I think it's what we were talking about before. You know that you should break up with Facebook, but you don't want to.
Exactly. The desire. I just do not have a strong enough desire. Where I get frustrated is when I realize I should be doing something way more productive towards my goals rather than diving into Facebook or diving into news or whatever it is that I have an RSS feed reader where I'm just accumulating content all the time. And I'm thinking, what am I doing?
Yeah.
Why am I wasting my time?
Consuming. Before you know it, half the day is gone.
It's absolutely ridiculous. So, and the other thing that we need to be aware of with ourselves is with these distractions is something called our daily focus patterns. There's a lot of research behind this, and everyone is a little bit different, but you are at the height of your focus in the morning, and then it slowly wanes down. The typical person, the trough, the bottom of your focus is around 1 to 2 o'clock, no surprise, mid-afternoon, right after lunch, and then it heightens again at about 8 or 9, which I was laughing when I saw it. I'm like, I can't believe that the height of my focus is when I'm sleeping at 8 o'clock, because I go to bed way too early. Well, I say go to bed way too early, and you're also supposed to get 8 hours of sleep.
Right.
There's enough evidence out there that says if you're getting less than 8 hours of sleep, you're actually hurting yourself. You're hurting yourself physically, you're hurting yourself psychologically, and you're absolutely hurting yourself in being able to get anything done. But that doesn't make any sense, JJ. If I'm only sleeping 4 to 5 hours, I've got all this extra time to get stuff done.
It doesn't work that way.
No, it doesn't. You are finding other things to do that you would not be doing normally, except for the fact you're awake now. Mm-hmm. You're awake. Yeah. Now, what's your sleep pattern? How much sleep do you get?
Oh, I need to have 8, and so that's why when I spend 1 or 2 nights a week working at the firehouse, I've slept between 0 and 3 is a pretty typical night's sleep there. Mm-hmm. It messes me up for the whole next day, sometimes 2. Well, but I need my 8 hours.
Me too. And if you don't get enough sleep, it's much easier to get distracted. You let these things take over your mind. And if there's a certain point in your life where if you're not getting, or in your day, if you're not getting enough sleep, you actually become intoxicated. Mm-hmm. It's the same. And you've probably felt this. I have, where you've lacked so much sleep that you literally feel like you're drunk.
Yes.
You're walking around trying to get things done. You're at work, literally intoxicated without the alcohol.
Yeah, years ago, my wife and I owned an event company, and we did a lot of all-night graduation parties. And there was a weekend where I had been up for 60-some hours straight.
Oh, my gosh.
On one of these weekends. And my wife had been up for a good part of that, and I called her. Now, she's the one that tells the story, because I don't remember it, but I called her at about 3 o'clock in the morning, driving down the road in a panic because I couldn't remember what traffic lights meant.
Wow. Yeah, talk about delirious.
I mean, I shouldn't have been driving. I mean, it was
that's crazy.
Obviously. And it was like intoxication. Like
wow. So there's no doubt that this whole distraction thing is going to totally get in our way. The next piece that I want to start getting into before our next break is what is your big picture? What is your vision? What is the why that you're trying to accomplish? Let's take this back to the most common thing we hear during this time of year on the resolutions is I want to lose weight. I'm looking in the mirror. I want to feel better about how I look. Well, that's usually not attached to any sort of vision. That's not attached to a bigger picture. I've always heard that the goal of losing weight and eating better aren't good enough goals. The goal is I want to live a healthier life, because part of that vision is I want to be more engaged with my children. I want to live longer. I want to be able to do these certain things that literally I can't do because I don't have the energy to do it. If your weight goals aren't tied into a much bigger picture with a vision, that is one major thing that's going to get in the way of you being able to sustain the desire, because those jalapeno flavored cheese puffs will always win. I'm sorry. They'll always win.
Oh, you're absolutely right. And I think that it's human nature that we only really want to fix what we can see. We can see in the mirror that we're overweight. It's harder for us to think about a healthier lifestyle if it hasn't created any health issues for us yet.
Yep. So we do our show on Facebook Live whenever we broadcast on the radio. We're at facebook.com/greatpeopleshow. And Debbie, who's already tuning into the show, I put out here earlier, what is the one big goal for 2018? And her big goal is to take better care of herself, lose 50 pounds, and find an exercise that I love, because truthfully, I hate exercise. And this is going to be a huge challenge for Debbie, because as we said at the beginning, if your desire isn't strong enough, in her case, the hate for exercise will win. It will win if we don't have something that we desire big enough. And I love the way she put it, is to find an exercise that I love. I was joking with Asher this morning we were having the same conversation before the show started. He said he needed to get some cold weather gear. And I'm like, for what? Because my first thought is, are you going to force yourself to go out running when it's 17 degrees? Because if you don't absolutely love to run, if you aren't infatuated and addicted to running, buying cold weather gear is not going to make it better for you. Now, the neat part is not to, we talked about something else. He's into this other thing, or he wants to get into this other thing. Asher, what's that other thing you wanted to get into?
I think it's called F3.
F3.
It's okay. Faith, Fellowship, Fitness.
And it's outside.
And it's free.
And it's outside.
Except for the gear, because, you probably don't want to go out there in your shorts at this point.
Yeah.
I'm a Southern boy, so this is all a little bit new to me.
So where's the desire for you?
Where is the desire?
Yeah. Why do you want to do this?
The broader goal of living a healthy lifestyle.
Oh, you've been listening to the show. I like that. It's fantastic.
I pay attention.
But with all
I know
these,
the right answer.
With all these things, we've got to choose our attitude, though, too, JJ. If I don't love going to the gym, but if Asher wakes up in the morning and he says to himself, you know what, I am going to hate this workout this morning.
You're not going back.
Or if he wakes up this morning and go, you know what, I'm going to go work out, and afterwards I'm going to feel great and like I've accomplished something and I'm doing this for the greater good. Mm-hmm. The attitude that you choose is going to take you a long way, and that would be something that Debbie ought to think
I've done it
about as
before,
well.
so it's less daunting. I just lost my routine. So
well, that's a big part of it. We're going to talk about that.
I lost it way down the road. Like, it's been a while since I've had this.
Yeah,
routine.
before the show's over, we're going to talk about structure and routine and habits, because that's really about the only thing that's going to keep us going long term in anything in our life. We already have them. So come on back, folks. You're listening to The Great People Show. All right, everyone, welcome back to The Great People Show. I'm JJ White, and we are talking about crushing your 2018 goals, and more specifically, all these things that are going to get in the way of accomplishing what we want, not just to have, but because of our show, we are more focused on what we're going to become.
Yep.
And we have a caller on the line this morning. We have Brian. Welcome to The Great People Show, Brian.
Hey, good morning, JJ.
Good
How are
morning.
you?
Good, man. We're talking about 2018 goals. Talk to us about your goals. How do you crush things in your life?
Oh, man. I think where most people make a mistake or should be more strategic is actually writing down their goals.
Mm-hmm.
Most people don't write them
That's
down.
true. That's true.
I'm gonna mess up the study, but a study was done by Harvard years and years ago about these Harvard MBAs, right? Which everyone knows is the elite of the elite, right? and
They think so.
And they looked at this cohort of people and said, who set goals, who wrote them down, etc. And some years later, they looked at the people that actually wrote the goals down, accomplished most of them.
Okay.
And most people just don't write them down.
It's true. And how do you, when you write them down, I want to get specific about this. Are you literally just typing them up and you keep it somewhere? Do you print them? Do you use a very elaborate system like a planner to write that down? How do you personally do that?
Yeah, years ago, I went to a goal-setting workshop, obviously, and the best goal-setting workshop that I've been to was this one. And, the guy challenged us, who ended up becoming a mentor of mine, challenged us to write out 50 to 100 things that we wanted in our life. Not what we thought we could get, but what we wanted.
Was that hard for you to do that at first?
Oh, absolutely.
Like, did you get to 3 and go, oh my gosh, I'm stuck?
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. And I'll tell you, I've used this probably the last 5 years, and most people aren't willing to do this hard work.
No, it's
They're
hard.
Not willing. They're not, right. It's challenging. And so anyway, I put together this list, and then they say, go back, now that you've written all this stuff out, put a number next to it. Is it 6 months? Is it 1 year? Is it 3 year? Is it 5 year?
Okay.
And so you put these things down, and then you go back and say, how long should it take me to accomplish this? And that was the best goal-setting workshop that I've ever been to, and it changed my life.
So Brian, tell us about 2017. What did you set yourself up for success in 2017, and what was your big goal, and how did it turn out?
Yeah, this year, 2017 was a big transition year for me. I moved to a new state. I had to start building a business from scratch, and so my goal was very simply, and in my business, how can I put a certain amount of days on the calendar where I was generating $1,500? And let me tell you, I started out with $500, but it wasn't big enough.
Good for you.
Because
good for you.
I said it's got to be bigger than that. It's got to be somewhere where I've never been before, and I've $500 a day. I've been there before.
And Brian, what I love about that goal is it's a daily goal. It wasn't by the end of the year I want to achieve this, and then all of a sudden you get to November and you go, well, I guess that didn't work out too well. I mean, literally, it was something that you had to focus on every single day, which is what I love absolute most about that goal.
Yeah, so, with takeaway weekends, there's 261 days in the year, Monday through Friday. And so my goal was to put as many 1,500 days on the calendar as possible, and I ended up putting about 145 days on the calendar where I was generating $1,500 a day.
Good for you. I think that's extraordinary. How'd you feel about it?
Obviously, you get to the end of the year and you're like, what could I have done better?
Okay.
And, you start planning, obviously, for 2018, and, I left a lot on the table.
Well, you sound almost a little depressed over it, Brian. I mean, what'd you say, 145? Was that your number?
Yeah.
Man, don't let it get you down, man. Don't let it get you down. That's good.
Yeah, and so, like I said, I feel like I left a lot on the table, and so next year, it's the same goal because I didn't accomplish it, and that's the plan for 2018. That's the big goal.
So, Brian, I don't know if you heard us or not. Before we went to break, we were talking about distractions, and then James and I kept the conversation going during our break, where we felt this void and being able to let our listeners know how to overcome their distractions, and we came up a little empty, and we were really specifically talking about Facebook. And one of the things that I did, I think it was 2 years ago, is I deleted the Facebook app from my phone, thinking this would help me reduce it. But you know that I still work so hard to get to Facebook through the mobile browser. It actually caused me to spend more time on Facebook because I couldn't overcome it. And I know I'm putting you on the spot here, but we're talking about a daily goal. Like how have you found to help manage distractions in your life?
Well, that particular goal is one that I write down every single day.
Okay.
So it's a daily reminder.
Okay. So you're actually keeping it top of mind.
Yeah. So every day, how am I going to get to this? How many days do I have on the calendar? So that's one thing. But yeah,
good
distractions, and I think you all hit on it a little bit earlier, which is, why do you want it? In sales or anything, we say, what do you want? And why do you want it? And, so whatever that why is behind this what has to be strong enough, compelling enough to make you get up every single day and say, I'm not going to do this. And, what you talk about is, I think we have to put guardrails in our life to protect ourselves from ourselves.
Good word.
I don't put junk food in my house because guess what? I'm just like everyone else. At the end of the night or end of the day when I'm tired, it's much easier for me to eat those things.
So Brian, is what you're saying then, because we talked a lot about distractions and how to overcome the distractions. Basically what I'm getting from you is that if you want that goal badly enough, if you lay it out clearly enough in front of you, that the distractions are going to take care of themselves. The distractions are going to go away because you're going to become that laser focused on those goals.
Absolutely. Jim Rohn, who is a famous business philosopher, speaker, trainer, etc., said it best. He said the pain of discipline weighs ounces, but the pain of regret weighs tons.
Wow.
And when if you're, I'm not trying to say anything about anybody, but if you're 60 years old and you're sitting there on that table about to get opened up for heart surgery, I'm being a little gory here,
right.
But if you're sitting there, by then the regret weighs tons, doesn't it? But to get up every single day and say, I'm not going to eat this or that, is just those little decisions, right, along the way are much easier.
Yeah.
And, since that quote, I repeat it every single day. you just don't want to get 5 years from now and say, gosh, I just regret.
Brian, I'm going to add one more thing to your analogy, and it just struck me when you were sharing that story, is one of my why statements, I believe, is if I'm 60 years old and laying on that table getting ready to go into surgery, I want to be able to say to myself, if I don't make it through this, that's okay, because I gave it my all. I did everything that I expected to do in this world. And what I hear you saying is, don't catch yourself in that situation going, I'm not done yet. This can't be it. I didn't get it all done.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, Brian, thanks for joining the show this morning, man. We appreciate you being on here and having such an impact for our listeners. And I expect you to crush your 18, bro. I expect you to crush it.
I plan on it. Well, thanks for having me, and keep up the good work.
Thanks,
I love
man.
The show, and
thank you.
Adding a lot of value to people. So,
we're here because of you. So, thank you, Brian.
Check in with us, man. Let us know how your 2018 goals are going.
We'll do quarterly check-ins on the show.
Absolutely. Thanks,
see you, brother.
Appreciate it.
Happy New Year.
All right, bye. You too. Bye.
So, as you can tell, Brian is focused, and this whole show is about focusing on our 2018. We've talked about your desire. We've talked about your distractions. We've talked a little bit about your vision. When we come back from break, what I want to spend the rest of our show on is talking about truly executing through structure. And we have some really cool ideas for you. So don't go away, folks. Come on back. You're listening to The Great People Show. Welcome back to the show, everyone. Today we're talking about goals. We trashed resolutions. We balled it up and threw resolutions in the trash can earlier.
We did.
What a bad word.
No, it is. And we don't usually think about it but that's what we're here for.
Yeah. We're talking about goals, which can be fun and exciting. I think a lot of people get really excited about doing something different and accomplishing new things in a new year, and then just by February going, I don't even remember what I said I was going to do. So we're going to talk for the rest of the show about what kind of structure can you put into your life in order to give your goals a fighting chance of winning. And last year, but it was about November of 2016, I bought a planner. I've never been much of a written, structured planner kind of guy. I've been more of a wing it kind of guy. And I think that is one of the main reasons why I have not been as successful as I've wanted to be. And I'll be the first one to admit that. I have very lofty goals.
Yep.
And when I fall short, I have to, like Brian, our caller earlier, I have to really look to see what it is that's causing that to fall short. And for me, it's structure and planning. So this year, I've invested in something called Full Focus Planner. It's meticulous. It's intense, to say the least. Did you ever do like the Franklin Covey stuff, or are you a planner kind of guy?
I have tried it, and I have generally, due to distractions, failed miserably.
It's about consistency. And the thing about the ink, it was called Ink Plus Volt was the other one. And the reason it didn't stick with me, it was a weekly. You set your week up. Yep. Man, in my life, if 6 days go by since I've done something and I've got to do it again, it took me about 3 months to lose the habit. Yep. This is one of those, it's daily. And another major goal of mine is I'm going to read 52 books in 2018, and I do count audiobooks as reading books.
Okay.
So, and it's because of the structure, because if I just said, hey, I'm going to buy 52 books and I'm going to stack them up and I'm going to knock them down one at a time, I will come up with an excuse every single day to not read the number of pages that I need to read in order to achieve my goal. So I subscribe to 2 services. I subscribe to audible.com. They give me 2 books. And then I subscribe to something else called LeaderBox. There's also another one out there called MentorBox, where they send you 2 books a month and they tell you exactly what to read every single day. So now I have the structure to know when I'm ahead, maybe I'm not ahead, but when I'm in line and when I'm behind. And without that kind of structure, James, I know me. And I know that these things will just float away. Now, I do have a desire. I have a desire to read books. I have a desire to learn. I have a desire, but it's not strong enough to make it so overwhelming that I'm going to do it without these mechanisms. Yeah. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah. And it all sounds good, too, to sit at home and think about these things. But, again, things are going to come along. They're going to get in your way. And how do you handle it when those things happen? Yeah. Mike Tyson is by no means a person who I would use as an inspirational, quote. But one thing that he did say once really does ring true, and that is Everyone has a plan until you get punched in the face.
I actually love that quote.
Yeah.
I've used that several times in the training programs I've done. I think it's true.
Yeah.
And Patton, he had a similar quote, something about it's the plan isn't necessarily there so that you execute meticulously every single thing that you expect to happen. It's to get your mind wrapped around what you need to do in order to achieve your goal. Because once, especially when you're talking about war, once you show up, it's done.
That's right.
It's done. So this is going to be my big go-to thing, and I'm going to report back on it in the show.
I'm going to hold you
once in
to
a while. So how are you going to structure your 2018?
I'm working on that. I really am. I haven't figured it all out yet. So I don't have a calendar like you do. I use a calendar obviously for all my appointments and meetings, but there's been a big push even within the organization that I work for about planning out every moment of every day. I have one friend here in Richmond. He owns a well-known business. I'd love to get him on the show sometime.
Let's do it.
He is organized along the lines of what you're talking about, but he actually pays a coach who holds him to his schedule every day and checks in with him 3 times a day. But it has been
3 times?
Yes.
Holy
this guy
smokes.
is like, you talk about micromanage, but he works. He's done working at 3 o'clock every afternoon, and most weeks he only works 4 days a week. He is 4 times more productive because of this coach. Now, this is within his business that he owns, but it costs like what another employee would cost. But it's been
It's worth it.
But it's been transformational for him and his organization.
And so the question is, because I know our listeners are saying this right now, is I can't afford to pay someone $50,000 a year to help me get jump started and get these things going. But you have to find something. Like I mentioned this planner earlier. There's dozens of these things out there, folks. You have got to find something to. And I don't like the word accountable. I don't like the word accountability partners. I prefer to use the word coaching. And here's another story that comes to mind as you're talking about your friend. Do you remember the show Clean Sweep?
Yes.
I think it was on HGTV or something. Yep. So the goal was to renovate a room that was trashed in their house. It was a well-used, let's say a playroom, okay? And it's completely trashed. Well, you can't start renovating the room without cleaning a house a little bit. And that's in a big part of what we do on the show, I think, is help us clean our own house up so that we can go achieve these goals. And the way they did it on the show was they took every single item out of this room and they took it out on the front yard. And there were 3 distinct piles. Let me see if I can remember them. It was the keep pile. It was the trash pile.
The donate, right?
They had fun. They had cool terms for them. I don't remember specifically the three. No, it was sell. It was sell, trash, and there was sell, keep, and something else. I don't know. So, as most people would, everything in that room had some sort of value to them. Mm-hmm. Most things would end up on the keep pile because we want to keep all these things. And this ties in so well with what we're talking about on the show. We don't really want to achieve these goals because we really want to keep who we are. Mm-hmm. We really want to keep the things in our life okay. And there's a lot of people that I've coached, James, and I've seen, their life is a train wreck and it's a mess. But there's a big part of them that actually wants to keep that around because it's safe.
Oh, sure.
It's unhealthy, it's demoralizing, and it's destructive, but it's safe. And they want to keep that around. So we're going to take a lot of the stuff that's in our life already and just say, I want to keep it because I know what it is. Yeah. I know what it feels like. I know what to expect. So that's round 1. Round 2 is they start to negotiate. There's a coach. You can call him whatever you want, the host of the show, whatever. There's literally a coach that tries to negotiate as much out of the keep pile to the other 2 piles as they possibly can to help people part with these things that they've basically held on to for too long. And I've seen people cry. I've seen people get upset. It's kind of neat when someone says, yeah, you're right, I don't need that. But all it took was someone outside of their life to come in and talk to them about it.
Yeah.
And that's a big element. The story with your friend of the show, I bet a lot of those conversations that they just need someone to talk to. They know someone is going to check in with them. They know someone is going to confront them, even in a loving, gentle way. You know, this thing is going to need to go.
Yeah.
If you want that pretty new room, this stuff's going to have to go.
Yeah, and so whether it's a pretty new room in clean sweep, or whether it's that you're gonna resolve, I know we're not using that word, but you're going to execute a plan to lose weight. Well, you probably shouldn't be going to the gym every morning and then coming home to a pantry that's filled with junk food.
Now, I need help with this because we have kids that we have junk food for, and Daddy eats most of it. So Brian said earlier he doesn't bring junk food into his house. The first thing I'm thinking is I wouldn't know how to do that and manage it with the kids. But that's my upper limit. That's my excuse. Yeah, I'm doing it for the kids.
Yeah, I mean we don't have junk food at our house, so we don't. Fortunately, we don't have that issue. You know, the issue for us is in other places. It's those distractions, JJ. It's, I'll tell you what, you want to find junk food. Come to a Firehouse sometime.
I can only imagine.
We are the dumping ground for anybody who has
excess
sweets. Oh, we'll drop it off at the firemen will eat it. And so you especially now at the holidays. I mean, you walk into that place, it is wall to wall cookies and candies.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, the public. So, and it's tough.
And I don't understand, because every time I see a picture of a firefighter, they're always half naked on a calendar. They look like,
believe it or not,
they've never eaten an Oreo cookie.
Well, case in point right here, they're not all like that. But it's resisting those distractions and temptations.
Yeah.
And that's where, and I loved how Brian said it earlier, if your goal is strong enough and it is well laid out enough and your desire is there and it is real and it is legitimate, those distractions will take care of themselves.
And the structure we're talking about is not a all by yourself structure. This is a structure where you have to bring someone into your life, whether it's a paid coach, whether it's an accountability partner. I don't like the word accountability, because I think someone else should not have to hold you accountable. You should be able to hold yourself accountable. And maybe just listening to that story of your friend paying someone to do it could change my mind a little bit on that, because I'd curious just for a test to see what his life and business would do in 3 months if he just cut that person off.
Yeah, and what he saw when he started this, within 2 years, he owns a franchise. His franchise became number 2 in the country. And it's a large franchise. Became number 2 in the country.
Yeah.
And he gives a lot of the credit to this coaching program.
And the moral of this story is, the only thing you're going to accomplish by yourself is what you've already been able to do.
Yeah.
Even though we are very capable of accomplishing so much more, of achieving goals, of being something that we never could imagine, it's going to be almost impossible to do it all by yourself.
That's right.
That we need something in someone in our life to maybe in a way hold up that mirror. And that's the way that whenever we've done some coaching, that's the way that we really look at it, is I'm just here to hold up the mirror.
Yeah. No, absolutely. So, JJ, in 2 minutes, bring it home for us. I have these goals I want to crush in 2018. Where do I start? What do I need to do? Well,
the first thing is, let's start with your vision. What do you want your life to look like in 2 phases, year 1 and year 5 from now? So it's January 1st, 2019. Sit down with someone else and paint a picture. This should be about 3 pages long, literally describing exactly everything that you want in your life.
In writing.
In writing. And I want it from a perspective of, where are you going when you walk around that day? What's it look like? What's happening in your life? What do you feel? But it has to be 3 pages in writing. Then you need to find some sort of structure in your life to say, these are the things that I'm going to do quarterly, monthly, weekly, and daily. That's the most important piece. Daily. Get a planner. Get something that you can write down. Screw electronic. Put it into writing, because our brain does different things when you pick up a pen and you write. The one that I use is called will be using is called Full Focus Planner. And bring someone into this. Find someone. I would say it should not be your spouse should know about it, but you need to find someone that does not have a horse in this race. A close friend. Pay a coach. Find someone that you can pay money to. A good one will give you 10 times the ROI. I absolutely guarantee it. And of course, every single week listen to the Great People Show.
Well, that goes without
whether
saying.
it be on Apple Podcasts, 97.7 FM. We are your guide to greatness in 2018. We are your GPS to excellence. We've had a wonderful 2017, and I'm so excited about 2018 and how we can be a part of everyone's journey throughout the rest of the year. Everyone, we're going to crush it.
We are, and we're going to be making our own goals for this show.
Oh, yeah.
And it's good. It's going to be
Well,
awesome.
we had to write them down and put them on our website. That would be amazing, just to hold ourselves accountable
Amen.
for that. Screw resolutions. It's all about your goals in 2018 and designing the life that you deserve. Thanks, everyone,
Absolutely.
for being here.
We'll see you next time.
You've been listening to The Great People Show.
I want something just like this.
Thanks for joining us. Tune in to The Great People Show again next week, Thursdays, 9 a.m. to 10 a.m.